Baby gorgeous. Welcome to Bravo and Blaze, where we're going to get lit off all the latest going on in the Bravo TV world. This is a safe and uncensored space to discuss our love for everything pop culture and 420 related. So grab your can of goodies and let's get lit. Right. Yes. Oh my gosh. We are live. I'm your girl, Jenny Blaze. We're here every Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook with replays available and the audio podcast available on Apple, Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio. We are here to bring you all the latest in Bravo, pop culture, and weed news. However, let me just give a disclaimer that this is for entertainment and educational purposes only. None of this is financial, medical, and or legal advice. Today, we have a very special birthday episode. It's not my actual birthday today, but by the next episode, I will have had my birthday, and I'm a birthday monster, so that's just how it goes. You say it's your birthday as many times as you can. But my birthday is not why this episode is so special. On today's episode, we have our first live virtual guest, Bravo Ducking Bravo. We're going to catch up since we last saw each other at Bravocon, and we're going to talk about all, the normal weekly shows and pop culture news that we have going on. But more importantly, we're going to discuss the fandom and essentially how toxic it can get. But before we bring her on, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. Like I said, we're live every Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern, unless there's some kind of holiday or... Actually, I might take next week off. I haven't decided. I need to take a break, I think. But don't worry. If you missed the live show, you can always watch the replay or listen to the audio podcast, like I mentioned, on Apple, Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio. Subscribing, reviewing, sharing, liking, and or leaving a 5-star rating is incredibly appreciated and helps this show to continue to grow. Also, don't forget our social media handle is at Bravo and Blaze on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, everywhere, pretty much. But also, as you know, bravoandblaze.com has all sorts of fun Bravo-inspired merch from some of your favorite shows. If you know what this one's from, this one says Grandfather MFer. If you know what show that's from, you can drop that in the chat, our interactive chat over here. And I see we have Emily from She Speaks Bravo. I am fangirling over her being here. Love, love, love. Okay, so I want to quickly I think I have like one other slide. Oh yeah, so if you're a Canna mom, this slide is so funny. I can't like not laugh when I see it. But if you are a Canna mom like myself, who's an entrepreneur trying to break the stigma of cannabis consumption and want to thrive outside of the corporate world, making money for yourself, please make sure you check out my other podcast, Cannabis Mom Boss, where I share stories of my life as a mom, cannabis advocate, and entrepreneur, but also lessons I've learned along the way. The mission of Cannabis Mom Boss is to empower others to safely, responsibly, and confidently come out of the quote-unquote green closet to modernize the perception of today's cannabis consumers, as well as provide the resources and tools you need to achieve results as an entrepreneur and mother. Cannabis Mom Boss is live on Thursdays at 1 p.m. Eastern here on the same YouTube channel, which is also available for replay if you missed the live stream. If you're a podcast listener, you are in luck because Cannabis Mom Boss is also available on Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. Okay, and then yesterday I essentially gave the full story of how I got cyber attacked this week. And it was the worst. I have experienced some things happen before, but this one was the most egregious, and it's actually escalated to a point where it's beyond, like, it's not personal anymore. It's like for a bigger purpose. But anyways, I have a variety of offerings available on Cannabis Mom Boss, so go check out. All the links are in the show notes. I don't want to waste any more time because I'm about to welcome our first ever live virtual guest. She is a woman of mystery, but still shines bright like a diamond. And I would like to give a warm welcome to Bravo, bravo, ducking bravo. Thank you so much for being here.
You are so welcome. Happy birthday to you. I'm so happy
Oh,
to be
thank
talking to
you.
you. Loved you instantly when we met at Bravocon
Oh my
because,
gosh.
as I told my husband, anybody who can befriend me in my Babadook outfit is a fucking friend for life.
Well, I saw you in your disguise and I was like, oh my gosh, I know her. And I think, honestly, I don't know about you, but when I saw other content creators who do the same thing as us, I might have yelled louder. Like, because,
Same.
like the Fandom, it's different when you see like a
Yeah,
Bravo Lab. And then when I see like people I feel like I'm actually friends with, or like we have way more
absolutely.
common ground.
Exactly. Like, what am I going to talk to a Bravo celebrity about? Like, I already tell them everything. Like, I post about it. We do it all day. There's very
Yes.
few that I feel like we could actually have a rapport. But other Bravo accounts, that's really why I went. I went to
Oh
go
my
hang out with
God,
other Bravo
yes.
accounts, and just see what the mess was.
Oh, yes, because nobody really knows there's like
No,
a whole community, like underground, another community. It's just like there's so
there's an
many
undercurrent.
layers.
There's an undercurrent. Yeah.
It's like we're in the back tunnels of
Yeah,
the
it's like front of
virtual.
house and back of house at a restaurant. Like we're back of
Yes.
house and we're like making
Yes.
stuff and sending it out, and the Bravo Labs are front of house, but there's stuff happening.
Oh my gosh, are we like the below deck
We are.
Vanderpump staff?
We kind of are.
Holy crap. I
Yeah.
just, boom.
Yeah.
Andy, if you're
Hmm.
listening, I mean, honestly, I've been like documenting everything along the way, and I have so many stories that when I tell people who are not in this world, like in the IRL world,
Yeah.
they're like, this sounds like so made up and
I know.
like alarming and
Yeah.
concern. I'm like, it is. It's very
It's all of
alarming.
those things and more.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm like so happy to have you here, obviously.
I'm happy to
So
be here.
before BravoCon, and I'll be honest, like the algorithm doesn't really like display your posts on my feed. And
Yeah.
so the first time I heard about your account was when you were also featured on Hannah Ferrier's podcast, Dear
Oh yeah.
Reality,
She's
You're
great, by the
Effed.
way. Hi, Hannah. She's lovely.
Oh, I love Hannah.
She's a sweetie.
I remember that was when I think she reached out to me to be on her podcast before I even started mine, and I was like feeling like so like scared about it. I was like,
I felt
"What?
so
Me?
honored. I was like,
I
really?
yes.
Hannah? Yeah. I love it.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And even when she started following me, I was like, this is not real." And turns out it was. So like to be asked to go on her podcast, I was like, this is such an honor.
Yeah,
And
it was.
oh, it was amazing. But that's when, because out of all the people that she had on, she had like maybe like a dozen
Yeah,
of
she had a
us.
bunch on. It was around New Year's, and so she had a
Yeah.
bunch on in one episode and then another episode. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is great. This is a good way for me to see what other content creators are out there. And you are one of the new accounts that I found through from being on her podcast. And I was like, your account stood out more obviously because of your full
Oh yeah.
disguise and everything. And I was like, no way. Like, what's going on here?
I
And I
know.
was fascinated. I'm like, that is pretty smart. And so when I saw you, and I thought, this is my own, this says a lot about me, but for some reason in my mind, I thought when I saw you that you would be like, "Oh God, please don't come up to me," because
What?
you're like
Never.
in a disguise.
No.
Like I don't want to be bothered, but I was just like, "Oh my God," because I really genuinely was like, "Oh my God," and you were just as receptive and like excited. So I was like, "This is amazing." And one of the first things we talked about was the disguise,
Yeah.
and I think you asked me, like, are you comfortable being
Yeah.
exposed?
How do you do this? Like, I was actually talking to my husband about it this morning, and I was saying, like, oh, it's annoying that I have to do this podcast and I got to like hide who I am and I can't show my facial expressions and I can't, connect or
You
whatever.
could do
But
it in other ways.
it really
You
is
got
sort
this
of,
going.
yeah, I can talk with the hands like Danielle. This is how I talk. But it really is just a protective measure. I think if I didn't have, a small kid, and if I didn't work in kind of a serious area, then I might just throw it all out there. And I'm very impressed by, have respect for, and I'm envious of people who show their government name and their face
Oh,
and
I
they're
don't
just
too.
out there living
Yeah,
because,
that's a lot.
there are weird people. And I'm sure Bravo celebrities, they talk about it every now and then about how they get mean messages. We do too. We do too. And
Yeah, we
um
do.
and it's just it's a decision I made early on. Will it ever change? Maybe. It might, but for right now, this is how I'm rolling, and I know peace.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do?
Yeah, you need to feel comfortable and safe and have peace. And I knew going into it that I was exposing myself to that risk and that there was a potential for that happening. And so I already like kind of played out I thought of all the things that could hurt me. I like
Yeah.
literally in my head took an inventory. I'm like, if they like make fun of my looks or my age, like
Who cares?
whatever. I don't
Yeah.
really care. But then things like obviously my children are important to me. And like I don't want like my physical safety is important
Yeah.
to me. So I have taken measures to, protect myself in that way. But at the end of the day, like literally if people are mentally ill enough, they could go to great lengths and try to find you and hurt
They
you.
could, and at that point, it's like meet me outside. You know,
I'm
earrings
like,
off, meet me outside.
I'll see you in court.
Yeah.
And hello, officer. I have a situation. I mean, luckily for me, I don't have to go to like a 9 to 5. But what people don't understand is that I am taking this very, very seriously. Like this
You
isn't
are.
my.
I'm so impressed by you all the time.
Thank you. But
This
I'm
is
taking
work.
like the my values and what I stand up for. And the reason why I was like, I feel like I do have to show myself because I felt like I couldn't promote or like be like, hey, let's come out of the green closet if I was in the green closet. And so
Yeah.
I knew that I kind of almost had to like sacrifice or like be a warrior for this community and stand up for the rest
Yeah,
of the
and it's
people who don't
important.
have a voice.
It's important. It's a valiant effort too. I mean, if this call was a couple hours later, I would absolutely be on an edible right now, but I got to do carpool today. Um, and I have nothing but good things to say about it. Now, I did not do an edible until almost a year ago. My
Oh, wow.
entire life, I just dealt with like a low level of stress and anxiety. And
Mm.
I wish that I had done it much, much sooner. I think I would have been more creative, more relaxed, and just had a better life experience. And
Yeah,
what are you going to do? That's a product of growing up in the, marijuana is a gateway drug era, right?
I know. And it's so wild. I mean, if you look at facts, like when I think we're around the same age. And when we were growing up, we were told like, we're gonna
We were told a
find
lot
a,
of crap, a lot
yeah,
of
like
crap
what
growing up.
the
Man, I'm
WTF?
I'm really learning on a daily basis that a lot of the stuff that were like pillars of youth are just absolute BS.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's wild to me. And being, like my educational background is in information technology. I literally studied, the impact of technology on our society, our culture, our psychology, and what it
Yeah.
does to people. And 20 years ago, when I was studying this, in school, we didn't even have social media. And
Uh,
I knew, I was like, this is scary. And everything, all these things that are happening, people like committing suicide because they're bullied online,
yeah.
or people doxing people. Like, I didn't even know what doxing was until I started my account pretty
Yeah.
much. And it's illegal. And so I've been looking at all these spaces that people don't really talk about and trying to figure out, like, how do we make it safe for people like us to be able to just have an opinion
And
about
just
a TV show,
absolutely. Yeah, and I
right?
think it's good, like, the laws are catching up with it, so that's great. It's
Yeah.
almost like, there didn't used to be laws against stalking, there didn't used to be laws
Yes.
against a bunch of things, but it
Yes.
takes it takes negative situations in order for the law to say, "Oh, that's not right, and how did that happen,
Yes.
and what can we
Oh
do?"
my gosh, that is such a great example. So I want to rewind a little bit, and I've been talking too much. So
Not at all.
I want you to tell us, or you could tell us your journey of your social media presence. You have over 65,000 followers on Instagram. So I'm sure anyone who's listening or watching, they're already following you. But if you're not, go,
I don't know about
because
that. You're sweet though.
well, it's amazing. I would love to hear your story, how you got to over 65,000 followers.
Sure.
You know, what was the intent? What do you stand for? What do you plan to do in the future? Tell us everything.
It's going to be the opposite of what people might think. I did not go in there with a strategy of like, here's how I'm going to do it. And I'm going to get the metrics and I'm going to hashtag and I'm going to post at this time of day and this time. I literally was, it was the beginning of the pandemic and I was stuck in my house and I'd always done something creative. And for the first time, I was just doing like domestic labor and work. And I was like, I'm going to go insane. This is not a life. This is not a life. And so I was like, you know what, let me get online. And the thing that I was doing the most in my free time was I was just treating Real Housewives like it was Mystery Science Theater 3000. I was watching it and just like reaming them. I was like, this is ridiculous. Oh yeah, that's a good move, And I was like, you know what, I'm just going to create an account and I'm just going to do that. And I'm just going to make dumb memes that make me laugh. And I'm just going to talk to the show like I talk to the show when I'm in my house. And that's what I started doing. And what's so funny is one of my longtime friends, she recognized my voice like week 2 of my account. She's like, she's like, a post just came up where you're talking about Potomac. Is that you? That's your voice, isn't it? And I was like, only you would recognize me, But
wait, did that scare you, or were you like, that's cool?
If somebody recognizes my voice, wonderful, great. I mean, they probably know me really well at that point, so it's not a problem. Yeah. But I thought that was pretty funny. And yeah, I just posted what I liked, and I kind of made a deal with myself in the beginning. I'm never gonna like let my everything that I am like rise and fall with this account. It's just gonna be what it is. And if people like it, great, they like it. And I remember when I had 100 followers and I was like, this is so fun. 100 people are amused by something that I'm putting out into the world. I hope their day's a little brighter. I hope it made them laugh. And that's still the mentality.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love that. So how long did it take to get to 65,000 followers?
I mean, I feel like I've been at that number for a long, long time, for like a year.
Really?
And the account's about 3 years old now, I want to say. So,
so
I remember
you got to 65,000 in like 1 year?
Maybe a year and a half too, somewhere around there.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, people blow up all the time though, and it depends on like so many different things. And yeah, I don't know. I just started doing what I do, and I definitely was fortunate that a couple of larger accounts, that I can think of. I remember getting a big boost after a big account would be like, haha, that was so funny. And then, you get a little bit more followers and then they drop off. Like if I look at my stats right now, I probably gain and lose 25 each day. And I look maybe like once every 6 months just to know what's going on. But I've never based it on number of followers. I know that that's very useful for like getting things and
it's
more
a good
opportunities.
Metric.
It's a really good metric
for certain
like,
things.
Are you landing? Are people responding to this? Are you growing the way you want to grow? But I try not to base like my sense of humor or my content on it.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I actually think people focus on the follower count.
You can get lost
way too much.
You can get lost in that.
And that's why, like, because part of our community, what I learned pretty quickly was that people bought followers, and I thought was the weirdest investment in a business or anything ever. Yeah, exactly. Why? And knowing, like I like to look at how technology, like, and the human interact and like what happens behind the scenes, like psychologically. And there is a psychological situation that happens with people when they see a lot of followers, they think, oh, I gotta go too. And it's like,
I've done that. I followed
yeah,
accounts because I was like, oh, 300,000 people are following this person. I should check it out too. And then you
yeah.
follow it and you're like, really?
Th-
And
There's
you start
so
to
many,
notice like it doesn't really add up. Yeah.
it's so weird, like what the very strange sociological patterns that are surfacing, that are coming to light due to technology, like mob mentality. Do you know, have you like ever Googled mob mentality or looked
It is.
into it at
Come
all?
on. I'm so
I
old. I'm
mean,
like a vampire. Yes.
you've,
But also, have you ever seen the video? It's a guy dancing in a field. They're like at an outdoor concert, and there's one guy dancing. I'll send it to you afterwards. And it's about leadership, and it's about being confident in who you are. And this guy's probably on something, or maybe he's just feeling the music, and it's literally just him, and he's just having a great time by himself. And it starts with everybody just like turning and looking at this guy dancing, and then two people come over and they join him. And then two more people come over. And before you know it, this giant pot of people are just vibing and dancing.
Yeah.
And so it was about just doing you and leadership, and the people that want to be near you will come.
Yeah, well, that is very true. That's like a positive way to
It is, right? Yeah.
I do, and that's why I do love technology and like social media. I know that like there is so much strength in technology and the digital world. I know it, I've seen it, and I like to look at all the positive things about it, but it's hard to focus on that when we're just talking about TV shows and then people start attacking us. So,
true, but you can't let the terrorists win. As I'm in full disguise, you can't let the terrorists win.
well, can you tell me what your experience has been like as a content creator? I only have like 6,000 on Instagram, and then I have like 2,000 on Twitter, and Twitter is where I got attacked this week.
I don't tweet. This
New
is why.
Jersey.
This is why.
Yeah, Twitter is like on a different level. Like
it really is.
It's very toxic. But so is TikTok. I just put
TikTok
my
is negative
reels
too. Yeah,
Holy
and it's
crap,
my favorite platform.
I was shocked that TikTok was so toxic. I literally put the same videos and reels that I put on Instagram onto TikTok.
I didn't experiment.
It's so wild the different feedback you get, and like the mob mentality on TikTok is way worse.
The tendency to pile on. Okay, so I have a perfect example of that. So I was doing Potomac. I was watching Potomac, and any diehard Bravo fan knows the exterior of Gizelle Bryant's home is lacking, right? It is a funky exterior. It looks like a Monopoly house, and that's okay. It's still worth a ton of money. She lives in a beautiful area. She loves her home. She's proud of her home. We are all happy for her. Now that disclaimer has been stated, I will always make a comment about the exterior of her home because it's so unusual to me. So I did that.
Is it better or worse than Melissa Gorga's, though?
Oh, God, that's a toss-up. Oh, I don't know. That's a rough one for different reasons.
Think about it for different reasons.
Right. So I took this little video where I was just having fun talking about the outside, the facade of Gizelle's home. And I posted it on TikTok because I was like, hee, I thought that was a little funny. It amused me. And I wanted to see if like architecture people on TikTok had, input. And there are entire accounts on TikTok where they critique McMansions and whatever. I see them all the time.
No way.
But what happened to me was,
oh shit,
I was called evil. I was holding down a woman who worked so hard for that home. How dare I attack a single mother who is doing her best and who is proud of her home? And I was like, damn, y'all never watch the show because you can't handle what Karen says about her. I wasn't even talking about Gizelle. I was talking about the exterior of a home.
Yeah.
Anyway.
People have, so that's a thing that I find interesting is that when people get or have that kind of reaction, they've obviously been triggered.
Yeah.
And that's like kind of the beauty and mystique of technology for me and like social media is that the beauty is that you can touch so many people's hearts in a good way and really use it for good. And
it's a beautiful thing. It really is. But also.
Yes. But also on the other side, it's like people ruin it for the rest of us.
Yeah,
and I feel like, you know, social media, if you look at like the history of the world, social media is very small. It's a tiny little scratch of a surface. Like, I can't imagine what's going to happen in 20 more years. And what scares me is that I feel like people have normalized this toxic behavior online to the point where they don't even know where the line is anymore. And what happened to me this week was illegal, and it was defamatory, and they committed libel. Like,
let's talk about it. Tell me details, because I've only seen like 2 things.
I did a whole episode about it.
You did already?
Yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So you can hear all the details, but essentially, I'll tell you how it all started.
Okay.
I was obviously, Real Housewives of New Jersey is on, and right away, I know. By the way, I think I've told you this.
Yeah.
Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and Real Housewives of New Jersey are, in my opinion, the 2 most toxic franchises on Bravo. Yeah. And it makes me not really enjoy those shows. However, like, I still like watching the shows. I would rather watch in solidarity than, you know, like, even engage in the community. And that is disturbing to me. But anyway, so like episode 2, obviously I'm a cannabis advocate. Margaret says to Jennifer Aiden, like, you have marijuana paranoia. And so I already knew this was coming, and I'm like, do I want to be involved? Like, I hate this fucking franchise. However, literally, I was like, I didn't want to do this, but I felt a sense of responsibility because of my platform, what I stand for. And I knew going into it that there could be some backlash. So I was
for anything, like, how dare you talk to Margaret? How dare you, whatever. Yeah.
Literally, that's what happened. So she said that. The next day, I wrote a blog post saying what Margaret did was ignorant. It was very damaging and harmful to the cannabis community and blah, blah, blah. I sent Margaret a DM telling her my personal story, how I use it for medicine, and that it has improved my life and all these things. And she agreed to come on to my podcast the very next day.
That's so nice.
Right? Like, and
yeah, she could have been mean. Some of the Bravo celebrities are mean no matter what.
And okay, and I'll say this was bold of me, and I also took it as like me being kind of cheeky. My blog post title was Margaret Josephs declares war on the cannabis community and Canna Moms.
That's just a little bit inflammatory. It's a little bit.
I mean, it was bold, but also it's like, okay, I even can admit that's taking it, like, I'm obviously exaggerating. She didn't declare war on us. Yes. But, and I guess I have to say that on record just because, you know, whatever. But when I sent her a message directly to her, I was respectful. And I said, I would love to have a civil conversation with you and be respectful in a way where we can hear each other's opinions and sides on this matter, whatever, you know, like, a lot of people are upset about it, etc. And she agreed. And so we had a podcast episode about, I think I released it 2 weeks ago, and I thought it went really well. And I even spent extra time on, you know, like, editing and, you know, like, before I published, because I knew that I have a platform where people have values, and I don't want to diminish those just because Margaret comes on and she may say, like, essentially what she said is she believes that Jennifer was impaired.
Oh.
And which I said, I don't know if that's for Margaret to decide. And I gave disclaimers before the interview where I said, you know, I do not condone people, you know, like, calling out other people on national television, but I'm also, like, a human being, and I know that I don't know these people, and so that's why I'm approaching this with an open mind and in a respectful way, because at the end of the day, I don't know Margaret. And actually, when I look at her, like, business and her podcast, I'm like, we actually are, like, very similar. And we have like similar qualities where we like to empower other women, and we like entrepreneurship and things like that. So we had that common ground, and that's how we started the interview. Because I didn't want to just be like, why did you say that to Jennifer? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that's not appropriate. And I'm a professional, you know? So, but we addressed it. And there's certain things like, obviously this show is being aired, and I am not someone, out of professional courtesy, I'm not going to go and purposely try to screw up someone's multi-million-dollar production, meaning Bravo, whether I agree with how they, you know, execute their production or not. That's just not my style. It's like pretty rude. But also I think it's probably like criminal or against the law. But anyways, I thought the interview went really well, and I got so much great feedback. And for me going into it, my mission was to educate and to stand up for the cannabis community, and I accomplished my goals. That was my goal. And I even said, I am not the judge or jury on who's right between Margaret and Jennifer. Yeah. I'm just here to
That's secondary.
Educate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's secondary. Like, you guys can hash that out. Plus, like, there's more coming out. This was months ago. I really don't care. Honestly, I could care less. So Margaret and I have a great relationship. Like, yeah, she said, she admitted, she said, you know, like, yeah, it probably wasn't like, it was in the heat of the moment and, you know, whatever. And she did her whole Margaret thing that she does, which I don't always agree with, but I can be civil with her.
Yeah.
So whatever, I promoted it in a tweet right before our Jersey aired.
And that's where you went wrong.
Yeah, that's where I went wrong, because I said I'm scared to promote this because Jersey stands are scary. And then that just triggered it. I was defamed. My medical history that was discussed in private DMs between this person who has been following me for 2 years.
Oh gosh. Oh man.
He not only released my personal medical information, he twisted it and called me a drug addict. All because he didn't like Margaret. He didn't read the blog post that I wrote. He didn't watch the interview. He just attacked. And the whole time, it's all there. There's a digital record of it all. And you can see that I maintained my integrity. I did not attack him in any way. And he just was belligerent. And he thinks that, you know, like saying, he made a public tweet apology.
Yeah.
Which is, I said, thank you. And I like hearted it or whatever. But the damage is already done. And like, while afterwards, I was really worked up. This went on from like 8 p.m. that Tuesday night till noon the next day with a 5-hour break to sleep.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is insane. My nerves have been shot since this happened. Like yesterday I was driving and my chin was like twitching. Like it does something to you psychologically and mentally when you're attacked in that way.
Yes, it does.
And so, that's what happened. And I'm still like, the thing that bothered me more, like in the moment, I'm a grown woman. I can handle things. It's like when you attack the safety of my children, that's obviously crossing the line. But on top of that, people, because it happened, but then people are still reading it after and are still coming to me and just seeing it now, and they're disturbed. They feel like they've been attacked because they're like, I smoke weed. I am a mom. How could they say this? And so for me, I feel like almost a bigger responsibility at this point that I have to escalate it because, like I said, we are dealing with this toxic environment where people don't know where the line is. And I'm going to show everyone what the line is.
For sure. And that's the really unfortunate part about, you know, any of the shows really, because the time that I was attacked the most was around Potomac when Monique and Candiace had their tussle.
Oh gosh, that was scary.
That I don't think anything will ever compare to that because people were so passionate on one side or the other, whereas usually I'm like, well, you know, I see how they both contributed to this situation. Like, I'm the Jen Fessler, like just stuff cheese in my mouth, right? Like,
I was like Ashley walking in there because I never watched Potomac until that season. And I was like, what is happening?
No, I was Potomac OG. And so I had kind of like seen the lead up of like, you know, and we're not going to get into this. We're not getting into this today. But what I'm going to say is around that time, it was rough. People were very, very, very passionate and mean-spirited if you did not agree with their perspective. And that's where I think things start to suck when you're a Bravo fan, because you should be able to just say, oh yeah, I get their point, without, being like, everybody else is wrong and I want to fight you in the street. And around that Potomac time is when I turned to my husband and I was like, I don't think I'm ever going to reveal who I am, because I want to be able to go out into the community or walk around and not have somebody literally try to like jump me because I thought differently than they did about two grown women getting paid to have conflict.
We don't know. Neither of us.
We don't know. I don't know them. I don't know anything about them. So at that point, to me, it made sense, to keep my like personal self personal. And it's tough because I think also that was kind of in the midst of the pandemic. So to me, in my mind, I took a step back and I said, it's a rough time for people right now. They're dealing with a lot of stress. And I think people still are dealing with a lot of stress.
Hurt people.
Right. No, but it was a weird place. It was a weird place. And so I think to be a part of Club A or Club B, people took that really seriously, almost like a sports game or something where they're going to fight in the parking lot over like one team loses. I've never understood that either.
Yeah.
So
this is very similar though.
Yeah, it is. It's a tribal mentality, right? And it's important for human evolution, but at the same time, we're watching Bravo. So you got to every now and then check yourself.
So crazy. And actually, I think I told you, because I told you one of my first, not cyber, well, it was a cyber attack, and I was catfished multiple times. And I told you I didn't even want
catfishing.
I think I told you about this because I said I don't even want to go out in the general admission area, because I told some of my friends, if I get shanked, it's this account.
Oh man,
this is their information, like just in case, because people are so nuts out there. And I actually I remember seeing Andrea Denver from Summer House. He was in the like Bravo Bazaar area. Yeah. And I was like, Andrea, what are you doing here by yourself? Like, are you crazy? And he was just like taking off his shirt and loving it. I'm like, I'm out of here.
Yeah. I mean, I do think
you were brave.
Well, people are confident behind a screen.
Yes.
If somebody wants to step to you in public, that's a bit of a different situation, right? Especially in a place where there's security, there's cameras. So you got to roll the dice occasionally. But, and how silly is it that we have these online accounts that we do to try to bring humor and creativity, and this has to be a thought at all, but it does. Sometimes I've, knock on wood, I've felt pretty good. I haven't had anything hateful or awful in a long time. And I think the difference between, for me anyway, Instagram and TikTok is that I have tended the Instagram garden so well. I've pulled every weed. Anybody who gave me like a scary vibe, they have been long time blocked. Anybody, who talked to me like I'm an animal, they're gone. But TikTok is the Wild West. I haven't really found my seat like that.
Yeah. It is scary. And, but another thing, like I thought about, because when you're a content creator, you have to make that decision, right? Like, do you just like let everyone, is it a free for all? Or do you how do you monitor your community? Because that's our space that we're creating.
And I still struggle with that.
Our space.
I still struggle with that. Like if you make a post and people start posting things and it's going in a really mean or negative direction, it's like far across the line. Like I'm here for some healthy ribbing and whatever, but when it starts, people start fighting with each other and it gets really, really, really bad and calling each other names. It's like, when do you become the teacher in the room and like flick the lights and come in? I haven't really figured that out. I try, but
do they message you directly when that happens? Because I've had that happen, and
I haven't. Usually people are just like, it's very rare, and I've learned what topics to post about and which ones are not worth it.
Isn't it crazy? Yeah. Same. I'm like, I don't even want to talk about this.
Like I have an opinion on it, but guess what? I'm going to take it with me to the grave because there's no point. Yeah.
It's not worth it.
Nope.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
My entire Thursday night. Yeah.
So I do want to go through some of our news that we have going on, and I'll just quickly put up some slides that I have. In pop culture news, are you friends with Face Reality 16?
Love her, Eliza.
She was at Bravocon, and she lives near me.
Oh, I'm
Yes.
so jealous. That's great.
Yeah, so she came on, but I wanted to just call out that obviously the Murdaugh trial has been going on, and I want to give her a shout out because her coverage of this case as a content creator, she's been crushing it, and I just want to give her a proper shout out.
She did a great job because I tried to watch that. I tried to watch it on the news. I tried to watch it on YouTube, and I was like, oh Lord, no, because I got to watch things
too
on like
much, right?
No, it was a lot, and then just watching him like snivel on the stand, I was like, I can't. I have the patience for it. So
it was his face that bothered me. And I'll be totally honest. Like every time I see his face, I'm like, ugh, no.
Punchable. It's punchable.
It's punchable. Very punchable face.
Yeah.
So outside of this week's TV, like normal Bravo TV shows, we had something from Atlanta come up. And Ralph Sidora filed for divorce from Drew Sidora. This is from Queens of Bravo Plus. But I guess apparently Drew got there first.
61 minutes. That's important. We're never going to forget Drew. Don't you worry.
Is that in this? Okay, so Queens of Bravo has, what did they write? According to documents obtained.
I don't think they have that in this one.
Yeah, I think it came out later, but
yeah.
We all saw this coming, right? What are your thoughts on...
I mean, I didn't know if I saw it coming, but I hoped it was coming. I mean, when he disappeared, I think he went to Atlanta or something. Where did he go?
Tampa,
damn it. He went to Tampa. I was like, Drew, I have been hoping for that. The way he spoke to her, his tone, the way he disregarded her, the gaslighting, I could never. You will not catch me.
He's awful.
I was hoping that behind the scenes, and remember they had that dinner. They were going to have that loving dinner, and she ends up crying at the dinner. I was like, Drew, please. And then, did you see her at Bravocon?
Did I? I did see her.
Looked so good. I saw legs before I saw who it was. I was like, whose legs? Who's been doing like lunges? She looks amazing.
That's so funny. I know her stylist, and I interviewed him. I still have to release our episode. But he does Contessa, and he does a bunch of other Bravo labs, I think. He did James Kennedy before, all for like Watch What Happens Live when they come to the city.
A stylist? Is that what you said? I need a stylist.
Yeah.
But anyway, she looked so good. And I was too tired to get up, but I took a picture of her. It's still in my highlights, and I tagged her. I said, Drew, you look great. She did. So I think I'm here for a single Drew living her best life, dating men who know what they, the lovely lady that they're dating. Not that I always agree with Drew. Don't come for me. I'm just saying I think she could,
don't ever come for us.
Relationship. I hope she has a nice relationship in the future.
Yes, I do too. And I have this feeling though that she's gonna be able to spread her wings and be this like awesome single Drew. But I fear that there's something in her that like almost sabotages herself from being in like a good relationship, because look at Ralph. He's awful. I remember the first season they were on, there was a scene where they were in the driveway, and I think there was like, they were on a scooter with their son or something. And I swear I got murder vibes from him. I think he said something.
Not the murder vibes.
Yeah, I think she said something like, "Oh, I hope I don't get hit by a car." And he's like, "We don't have life insurance," or something like that. And I was like, "What?"
Funny joke, haha.
Yeah, crazy.
No, I did not like it. He was not respectful to her, not one bit.
No, me neither. How about MJ from Shahs of Sunset? Did you see that she's going to be joining the agency?
I did. I saw that. And when we first started watching Shahs of Sunset, if you recall, season 1, MJ, a couple of them, they were real estate agents.
Yes.
And they all were, I think. It was like Mike, everybody was. Yes.
Yes.
And so, good for her going back to her roots, make that paper. And the agency is, who won't they? Go ahead. Everybody sign up.
Do you think she'll be on not selling Sunset?
Why not? If it gets them a couple more clicks, they'll do it. So I think she would.
I didn't even watch that show on Netflix, but I would watch it if she's on.
I would watch it more if she's on, rather than just the kids. Yeah,
absolutely. That's how much
she's unpredictable to me, which I enjoy, and I love her husband.
She's so. Oh my God, Tommy.
Tommy, stop it. Stop.
Love Tommy.
I
Oh
love
my
the
God.
baby.
I love them. Oh.
Yes.
Even Vita. My mother is
I like
Korean
Vita.
and she's like, my mom is like a Korean Vita.
Mm-hmm.
Mercedes, your face looks like the color of wood. The way she enunciated on her wedding day, I was like, that is so my mom.
Yeah, and there was an episode where they all dressed up as Vita and they were like all mean to each other. I love
Yes.
that.
So Bravo by Gaze posted an inside look into, I'm sorry if you can't see this that well,
Oh, I
but
see it.
it's a sneak peek, I guess, at who's going to be on Winter House season 3. We have, I think that's Danielle from Summer House, Kyle Cook, Jason Cameron, Brian Benny, the Toms from Vanderpump Rules, and Amanda, of course. But then
there's that below deck girl in the bottom right hand corner.
Yeah.
I remember her.
The two on the bottom, Malia and Riley, are from Below Deck, and I'm a little bit disturbed by this.
I love it. This is giving me like Bachelor in Paradise vibes. Just take them all, shake them up, and put them in a house. Yeah.
See, I see what they're doing, and I get it, but I also like feel weird about it for some reason. I don't know why exactly.
Okay, but I think the difference though is that I never watched Summer House.
Oh my gosh.
I tried for 2 episodes, and I was like, I could care less.
Skip the first 2 seasons.
Okay, well that's probably what it was.
Yeah,
but I also
the first one's not.
I saw somebody post that we should call it seasonal home, and so now that's why I laugh, because that's what I think of.
It kind of should, because they've mixed Summer House, Winter House, and Southern Charm, and now they got Below Deck. It's like wild. But also, so I guess for season 1 and 2, they were in Vermont, Stowe, Vermont, and this season they're going to be in Colorado. They didn't say exactly where, but I think that's very interesting from a cannabis community standpoint, because I think, it was legal in Vermont, but I don't think it's like recreational there. So Colorado, I believe, is full recreational. So I would love to see, I'm going to manifest this, I would love to see some advocacy of some kind on Winter House season 3.
For sure. I'd love them to all just hold hands and like do shrooms, because I think shrooms are okay in Colorado, or at least Denver.
They're at least decriminalized, I believe. And that's good enough. Yes. We need to talk about shrooms more, to be honest.
I would love to do shrooms. I have not done them. I'm always on the lookout. I was actually going to get a book about shrooms just so I could go out in the yard and see what I got.
I have so many books on mushrooms. Maybe I can
let me know. But seriously, though, for anybody listening, there's a great documentary on Netflix, Fantastic Fungi. And I highly recommend it. I learned a lot.
I don't know if I've seen that one. I'm going to have to check it out. I'll watch it this weekend.
It's about the history of people doing shrooms from the beginning of time.
Yes,
so it's really drugs were like taken away from us. This is not the normal. Right now, this is not the normal.
Yes.
The normal was incorporating them into your existence.
It's been replaced with
pharmaceutical
companies who are making so much money. Yeah. I was watching a commercial yesterday that caught my eye because they had it was like an amazing commercial. And then I looked up and it said it wasn't Ozempic, but it was something like that. And I was just like, are you kidding me? I want to know how much they spent on this, because they have the money, because they've taken over. But anyways, we're digressing. So next, I wanted to go into our Bravo shows. We had a lot going on this week with Potomac. With
so much going on.
Season 7, episode 19.
These outfits are strictly ballroom. Do you remember when they used to wear outfits that looked like they were just like grabbing lunch after, like going to happy hour after work?
Absolutely. Have you watched since the first OC season?
Come on.
OG.
Every season, every franchise. Yeah.
Yeah, they would wear jeans and a sky top.
Yeah. It was amazing. But I mean, I do appreciate it, the way they've leveled it up, but it's just really, it hits me every now and then to watch the level of effort and the glam and the hair and the sparkles. And I'm just like, wow, we've come so far.
I'm super excited for Miami's reunion, but let's focus on this one. We got season 7, episode 19, reunion part 2. The episode description is: the rift between Candiace and Gizelle continues as they address all of Gizelle's allegations against Chris from season 7. Gizelle opens up about her recent surgery and dating a younger man, Jason Cameron, who I interviewed on Valentine's Day. But the lady, and I asked him about it, But the ladies question her willingness to share information about her personal life. Wendy gets fired up about Mia's assault on her in Miami. Jacqueline joins to reveal her truths about her relationship with Mia. There's so much going on in Potomac. Like, it's
So much.
The craziest thing to me outside of the actual episode this week, Peter.
Get your peach, Peter.
Oh my gosh. Peter, Mia, and Gordon were posting all these videos going back and forth like, I let him borrow 10,000. No, he let me borrow 60,000. Whatever. I was like, this is too much. I can't even like consume it all. Do you know what's going on? What's your take on it?
Of course I do. It's exhausting. This is the life we chose. So apparently, Mia told a tall tale at the reunion. Shocker, that's never happened before. Saying that Peter, and Wendy had an affair, and Peter did not. Did you see
that video?
Which one?
Wendy is intoxicated eating food, and Peter's talking and says, "Oh, you like that Nigerian food?" And he posted and said like, "Oh, we didn't have I think Mia sent it or posted it." Yes, and she took it down like 3 minutes after, but I got it.
Oh, good. I will
send it to you.
Yeah, I don't know, because I haven't seen that one. But it was just that, Peter said, I can't believe that you would pretend to be close to me and pretend to know that when you don't. And so, of course, Gordon jumping in saying, not close to you. You held my baby daughter and you asked me to borrow money. And it got ugly for a second. But then Mia did come out in a series of tweets that I saw either last night or this morning saying, I shouldn't have said what I said, the usual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I do appreciate when they will release an apology of some sort.
Yeah, I do too. Nice.
Well, like I wish that was the standard.
Same.
It's kind of like a bonus, which is sad.
The bar is low.
Yeah, the bar is very low. But it's hard to see like how low these people can go sometimes, and it's hard. It's like cringy and but you can't look away.
It's a fine line between starting enough drama that you want to stay on the show and making an ass of yourself.
Right. Oh my gosh. Did you see Bravo and Cocktails posted Juan out with another woman?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just I just can't even stand Juan Dixon anymore.
Take Robin with you.
I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah,
we're
I'm
done
over
with
it.
them. Oh, did you see this one? From Reality Chat, Michael Darby is suing Candiace.
I sure did. I have so many thoughts on this.
$2 million? Yes, please tell me your thoughts.
Well, it's not that of all the things that cast has ever said about him, he's zeroing in on this. Not saying he doesn't have a right to do so, but it's just interesting out of all the things. Mm-hmm. At the same time, does Candiace have a mouth on her that can get her into trouble? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So we'll see what happens. But $2 million, I guess he gave her a cease and desist first. And because she didn't respond to that, because she didn't recant or apologize, then he's pushing forward with legal action.
Oh, yeah. When was the cease and desist sent?
It was in one of the articles saying that I'll find it. I'll send it to you. But saying that he had first issued her that, and see, we never heard about that.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that was just between the two parties of like, hey, I'm putting you on notice, and so that's your time right there to make a decision of like, do I want to push this and say I've got receipts, I'm confident, or do you want to completely avoid any of the nonsense of somebody, even if you are right, kind of like dragging this into courts and lawyers and whatever. Mm-hmm. And so I guess she either didn't respond or made a choice at that moment, but we'll see what happens with him.
Oh my gosh, this is insane. I heard that people were saying that he may not be doing well financially, and that's
a rumor going around, I guess. Yeah.
Do you think that's true?
I don't know. I mean, because I don't know enough about how his finances are going.
Yeah.
I would assume that Ashley knows, but then she's publicly saying she doesn't know.
I think it's wild that she told us how much her mortgage is every month, which is not an average mortgage.
It's not $13,000 to me.
That is
is wild.
excessive, right? Like,
And then, but then I have a reality check and I'm like, or am I a dinosaur? Is it when like I would tell my dad how much a pair of jeans cost and he'd be like, what? Is that who I am now? Is that normal for a mortgage? I have no idea.
I don't know. I don't think that's, I mean, I wouldn't recommend anyone to go with that big of a mortgage
No,
unless you already have, like, I don't even like the idea of a mortgage.
me neither. And so that's what's interesting too, is that, the mortgage is you're paying rent to the bank and they own the house and whatever. But I would assume that he would have paid for the house outright at that small amount because of his net or his amount that he has in his life is like 20 plus million.
Yeah.
Why would you pay the interest rate? Why would you go that route?
This is why I'm like, is there truth to it? And
I don't know.
I mean, we'll never know, I'm sure, but I just find that a little bit.
I find it odd that she's not getting alimony. I find it odd that she doesn't feel like the prenup is working out for her. I find a lot of things. Well, I found everything between those two odd from the jump. So
yeah, that's
this
true.
Is par for the course.
And people are saying he's like kind of thirsty, so I don't know.
No.
Not Michael Darby.
No.
Okay, I want to move on to Family Karma, Season 3, Episode 15, Love Wins. The description is Amrit and Nicholas's wedding weekend comes to an epic conclusion. Oh my God, I sobbed. Dharma attempts to reconcile with Reshma, but is met with mixed results. Bali prepares for a future away from Miami. Monica and Rish reach a crossroads. Do you watch Family Karma?
I watched the first like 2 seasons and I got behind. And so it's one of those things where I have just like a ton in my DVR and I need to catch up. I get like that with some shows.
Family Karma.
I know it's a great show.
My favorite. Actually, I won't say it's my favorite. I think it's the best show on Bravo.
No.
With the criteria being that it's still amazing, captivating television without the toxic underlying tones. Like it's so pure and it's like it's helping us evolve like in humanity. And that's what I appreciate about it. Like
what a glowing review. Okay.
Yeah, like season 2, I sobbed. I will say season 2 probably was the best reality television I have ever seen in my entire life. I know that's a bold statement, but I stand behind it because I said it before. It is that good. And season 3, like I was worried about season 3 because season 2 was so good.
Yeah.
But season 3 gave us, it was, I don't even have any notes. Like Chef's Kiss is so good. Okay. Highly recommend. So I'll move on because I could talk about it all day. Do you watch Below Deck?
Always. Yeah, I'm caught up on Below Deck. Below Deck was like one of my original shows. To me, that is the gateway show. Like that's how I got my husband into Bravo. And it's such a pure show. I like that they shake it up. And you have maybe some people who carry over, but it's new people. And it's the vibe that I had hoped, Vanderpump Rules would have, which I never really got into. I watched like the first 2-3 episodes. I know. But that's because I waited tables for years. Look, in college, I waited tables.
It triggered you.
I waited tables in big cities. No, I was excited to see people like talking smack around the well and like all that kind of stuff. And it didn't give me that. It gave me like more like fakey fake stuff. And I was like, oh, that's not what I wanted. I wanted Below Deck in a restaurant. I wanted to see people scraping plates and cursing at each other and trying to do roll-ups and polish wine glasses. And that's not what I got. I still think that would be a great show. But anyway, so Below Deck I love because you see people at work under the stress of work and then their interpersonal relationships and the crazy guests. So I love the show.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So this week's episode, season 10, episode 14, Big Deck Energy. Chef Rachel delivers a 24-karat dinner to remember. I love her so much.
Love her so much, yes.
The crew throws the pageant queen guests an 80s party and guest LaQuiche.
She's something else with the turkey sandwiches.
Never since Lindsay Hubbard. Well, you don't watch Summer House, but
But I mean, I know the jokes because I see everybody's memes. So how many sandwiches have you made me?
Yes, I get those vibes from LaQuiche. But she continues to annoy the interior team with her many requests. Tony takes issue with Katie, and Ross is forced to reprimand his boat crush. Haley celebrates her birthday. I love that she's a birthday queen like me,
Uh-huh.
on the boat, and a new stew arrives, creating quite a stir. It's a roller coaster of emotions when the crew says goodbye to Captain Sandy, peace, lady, and hello to Boat Daddy, Captain Lee.
I know, he's so great. My only regret from Bravocon is I didn't talk to him. He was right in front of me, and sometimes I just felt like a freak in that outfit, and I was like, let's not scare him today, and I just like walked by. But I should have said hi to Captain Lee. Because to me, it's like, don't embarrass yourself, don't embarrass the boat is such a good motto for life. And
Yes.
he's a classic Bravo legend at this point.
I love him. And I kind of feel like a little bit of a witch. And I didn't do this on purpose, but I just got the vibe like Captain Lee wasn't doing well. And then we had Below Deck Down Under, or not Down Under, Below Deck Adventure come out with Captain Carey.
Sailing, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of them.
Well, with Below Deck Adventure, Captain Carey, I was like, I really, really like this captain. Like, I haven't felt that way about a captain since Captain Lee. And so
Really?
I even, in my shop, I have Boat Daddy hats.
Yeah.
I sent him, Captain Carey, 2 Boat Daddy hats. And literally, like, within a week, there was an announcement that he was taking over the original Boat Daddy's role. And I'm like, did I do that?
Did you manifest that?
I didn't mean to. Like, it was bittersweet in a way when I saw that, but it makes me sad to see.
Makes me sad to see him go.
go.
He's so great. But I'm sure he'll pop back up. He'll come back on shows, I think.
I think so. Well, I think he has like shows that he's doing on him, like by himself on the road or something.
Oh, nice.
I don't know, but yeah, I don't love this crew.
The crew is weird. I mean, they're getting rid of people left and right. So it's hard to keep up with what's going on. I'm not a huge fan. Yeah. None of the men turned my eye. Not that that's necessary, but it's nice.
It is.
And that's not happening this year. Rachel, anything that Rachel's on, I will watch. I'm still devastated. I can't even remember what happened, but Bravo did Rachel wrong somehow, and she cursed him out of mine. Remind me. Give me the elevator spiel.
She went to go hang out with Austin in Florida, and she had a bad experience where I guess she said he was drunk and doing coke in the bathroom.
Wait, which Austin? Which Austin?
Austin Kroll from Southern Charm. They were in Florida together hanging out, and she posted about it and was like, this guy's an asshole or something, and said he was doing coke in the bathroom. And so he responded like, Rachel, WTF. I guess behind the scenes, off camera or off social media, allegedly, Bravo PR reached out to Rachel to have her take everything down. She stood her ground, respect to Rachel, and she said, F you. She said, F you to Bravo, and she was even supposed to be at Bravocon, and she said, bye. And
to protect a 6-foot-tall baby. Let it go. Dang, they loved him so much, don't they?
And wasn't he so creepy at Bravocon? Like
I didn't get in the close vicinity. I saw from afar, and there were always ladies going after him and taking photos with him, which again, the bar is low on Bravo. We get it. But yeah, I would not sacrifice Rachel. If 2 people are drowning and it's Austin and Rachel, I'm throwing to Rachel.
I'm going to use Austin as a float for Rachel.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Oh my gosh, nobody cancel me.
Oh my gosh, it's fine. You know what? And that's the thing is he's going to be fine. He's always going to have a place on Bravo. They're always going to put him, he's always going to get some kind of girl.
I kind of felt for Austin when he first came on the scene because like he gave the story of his childhood with his sister who died.
Of course.
Like,
I mean, he's had some great moments, but I don't understand telling Rachel to
Oh, absolutely. Like, that's crazy. The thing with Austin is, like, he has had so many chances to, one, like, show that he could be a decent guy and a decent boyfriend to people. But, like, the whole Madison thing, he cheated first. And then she went crazy. Rightfully so, I think, in my opinion. Like, don't gaslight her.
She was nice compared to some real life stuff.
She was the best thing that he probably will ever get. And on top of that, with Trop Hop, he has this platform where Trop Hop could be everywhere now. But do we hear about Trop Hop? No, because he's too busy trying to hit on girls when he's wasted. And I also heard something about him. he made up a lie about some of the Southern Hospitality crew, saying that they tried out for Southern Charm. It was TJ that he was talking about, TJ Dinch from Southern Hospitality, who I interviewed. And he said, like, oh yeah, TJ, they're so thirsty. TJ tried out for Southern Charm. And I was like, did you? And he's like, never. So Austin is just like over there getting wasted, talking shit about people instead of working on his business. And that's why, in conclusion, we should save Rachel.
We should save Rachel. I mean, I think maybe if we just ask really nicely, and just a lot of us do, and say we like her,
she should have her own cooking show. Just her. I don't even need her on Below Deck. Like, she's almost too good. I
just want to hear her talking.
Yes, right? I also am trying to manifest a Below Deck Top Chef crossover.
That needs to happen. I've been waiting for that to happen. I was hoping.
That would be amazing.
Now, when I bought SVIP tickets for Bravocon, in my mind, it was going to be special like that. In my mind, in the lounge, it was going to be like Rachel being like, hey, you know, I this was my menu that I designed today. I hope you like it. And like the next day, some other random chef that we've seen maybe from Top Chef or hey, I hope you like the lunch today. That's not what we get.
You left every day.
Every day I was like, I'm going to die. I'm starving.
I just was living off of like excitement.
I don't know what you're living on. I don't know.
I'm like, wait, but there's more people. Hold on. Let me talk. It was nonstop. I loved it.
I was comatose on the couch for a really long time.
Me too. Yeah. It took a lot out of me.
And on no food.
Real quick, I'm going to go through the rest of the show. Summer House. We have season 7, episode 3, A Cup of LoyalTEA. Danielle and Gabby agree to move past shady men. Chris takes a shot with Sierra. Kyle continues to be frustrated with Carl and Lindsay about Loverboy. The girls enjoy an afternoon of sipping and spilling the tea until a revelation from Danielle threatens to derail the party. You said you don't watch this, right?
Seasonal home. I don't watch it.
Seasonal home. So I wrote already, I think, 2 blog posts about this. So anyone who's watching, I'll put the link in the show notes. Like, it's a lot. We're only on episode 3, and I wrote 2 blog posts. Like, there's a lot going on, and it's very complex, and we don't have the time for that right now. So I'm going to move on to Jersey, Real Housewives of New Jersey, season 13, episode 4, housewarming history lesson. After the guys' night blowout, the divide between Teresa, Joe, and Melissa is at a standstill. Frankie hits Dolores with hard questions about their shifting family dynamic. Rachel and Jen Fessler spill the tea on Jennifer Aiden. Melissa gets emotional after hearing Teresa and Louis' speech about chosen family, realizing that as strong as she tries to be, she has her own breaking points with this family.
Yeah. All right, let's get some haters in our, let's get some haters in our DMs. Stretch.
All right. Who do you root for usually?
You know, I root for logic and reason at all times. And so in Jersey, there's not a ton that I'm usually rooting for, but I enjoy the ride. Like the episode last time where they were making the cheese, I have not laughed that hard. Maybe I was having a stressful day. I don't know, but I was wiping tears. I loved that episode. Gosh. I loved it.
Is it because of Jen Fessler?
Yes, I love her. And then there were a bunch of other things that happened too, like Dolo, and Dolo's like getting ready to fight somebody. I feel like the Grinch's heart when it like breaks the frames. That's how I feel. But I really, really enjoy Jersey. When it's good, it's great. Yeah. But the fighting between the two families, like I have aunts and uncles in my family. You can probably guess which side, that they have not spoken for like decades. And so the cousins don't speak and nobody remembers what they're even mad about. And I'm the Jen Fessler and I'm like, but don't you want to make peace? Like you all are getting older. And they're like, shut up. So I get it. And I get that there might not be a resolution. The weird thing to me is that they are on camera. They're getting a check to be on a show together. Yeah. So that's what's different. Like my family, they're all in different states and different places. They're not coming,
you don't have to.
They're not coming together to be on a show. You got so many opportunities to figure it out. So it's extremely annoying that we're still on this ride. Yeah. And it's tough to watch. It's emotional.
I feel like they could use this opportunity as like Bravo paying them to go to deep therapy together or something.
And you know what?
Literally, they would pay them.
Somebody, because I said the other day, I was like, just do a Parent Trap, put them in a cabin with a therapist, let them work it out, let them pull pranks on each other, get it out, and then go to a place of healing. And somebody was like, don't you remember when they did a special?
They did.
and I blocked it out. Blocked it out.
Well, they went to Lake George, didn't they?
There was that, but then somebody said they had an RV or something, and I'm like,
Did
what? I
they?
don't remember this, but I have to look
I
it up.
don't remember that either. Oh my
There was
gosh,
a
yeah.
therapist, and they tried to work it out, like do this intensive thing.
Was it Rosie? Rosie the therapist?
I wonder if
She
it
probably
worked.
could, maybe.
I could. But yeah, I don't know that this is ever going to get resolved because
No.
it seems like both parties have to want it, and they're never
Yeah.
on the same page with that. But
Honestly, though, like on top of the deep trauma that I think they have from their childhood that's still, like playing out today, they have cameras in their faces. And that part is not what's bad. It's the community, like we talked about, the toxic community who ride or dies for some of them for things that they probably even shouldn't. Like, I feel like I've talked to some housewives one-on-one where I felt like, oh my gosh, I feel like I have to defend this person or something. And even they're like past it, you know, and they're like, oh, that happened like 3 months ago or whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay, good. But I can only imagine like that must play a toll on Teresa and Joe.
For sure.
You have all these people like, oh yeah, I can't believe she did that to you. And
do you
then
remember what she said to you 4 seasons ago and the look that she gave you at that party? I did.
Yes.
It's like you can. It's almost like the Black Mirror. Do you remember that? Do you ever watch Black Mirror?
I've watched some episodes.
I'm addicted. I loved that show because it's like, I don't know why. It's something about philosophy and like
too.
And technology and social. I love it.
Anyway. I watched the eyeball one where they had the camera in the eyeball and like the girl cheated.
That might be the one I'm talking about because he couldn't forget. He could not forget. He kept playing it in his mind over and over and over again when she...
Because didn't she get pregnant with someone else? Like it wasn't his baby.
There was something like that.
And she's like, she tried to erase it real quick.
Yeah.
It was
but
nuts.
Kept
I was
fixating.
like, oh.
And so it's almost like that where like, even if they want to forget and move on, it's extremely difficult because even when I say something like, well, that's nice that she did that, you know, my DMs will get flooded in polite, nice ways because, boy, I have lovely followers right now. They're so just wonderful, considerate, great, empathetic people. They'll be like, yeah, but remember that, you know, Melissa said this and this and this, and she did this 2 seasons ago. And I'm like, I forgot. So for me, it's good because I block out things that are unpleasant. And so I'm perfect to move on. Yeah. But especially, I don't think Teresa or Melissa is very good, or maybe it's Joe, at like letting things go. I feel like Teresa's really trying, which is nice.
I feel like she's trying to heal and Joe doesn't really know how. And I do think that I love Louis. I think he's amazing for Teresa. And I am hoping that Louis somehow helps turn around this whole fandom and this show in a good way where like we have these moments like family karma where it's like actual like beautiful, touching, inspirational moments that you're like, look at what we can see in humanity and like learn from and spread positivity. Instead, like right now Jersey's just very toxic and it's like ugh. And like really I think Louis has the ability to turn things around.
Let's hope. I mean, you know, he's a hot button issue. People, especially before when they first started dating, because of his ex-fiance and a lot of things that were being put out, people were very protective of Teresa, as you know, as expected, because we have seen her be treated so badly that you don't want to see her be treated badly again. Yes. She gave her ex-husband so much love. She's a great wife to him. Care, amazing understanding, amazing mother. I mean, there are reasons why the Teresa fandom is so dedicated to her, right?
Yes, I love Teresa.
Nobody wants to see her hurt. So even now, if somebody is very like, you know, overly hypersensitive to Louis, I know that it's coming from a place of wanting to not see Teresa get into a bad situation again. I can only judge people by their actions. And so far, he seems to be very loving and kind to her. And I hope that they are truly happy and that she and her girls too, right? Like he's been very kind to her girls.
Oh my gosh. I love their blended family.
Everybody wants the best Teresa and her girls. So
well, you could see like, I mean, in my opinion right now, what we're seeing on the show is like, I think, you know, like Louis helped Teresa take, like that step that maybe she wouldn't normally take and say, like, do you want to make peace? Even though it was so hard for her to say that.
Yeah.
She did it. And he's like, oh, I don't know. And he made a decision not to go to that party. And so that's where I'm like, that shows the, where the block is. He's not willing to go to the party and try to move forward.
Yeah. And I pointed that out too. And then people in my DMs are like, well, he just can't take it anymore. And family is toxic. And I'm like, but he's still on the show.
But he's an adult.
He's still on the show.
And he's still on the show. And like, yes, exactly. He's on the show. What is he supposed to do?
What is he supposed to do? I mean, and that's where it's like, if it's truly that toxic and it's truly that hurtful, then maybe it is best for your family to step back and not be in this arena where it's causing you strife and it's causing you emotional pain. Yes. But yet they're still on the show. So I feel like because they're getting that paycheck, they hopefully need to be very respectful and loving to each other and just be like, clean slate for real. Not clean slate and then we're going to talk about it again to our other people in 5 minutes. Clean slate and move on. I don't know if it'll ever happen. I don't know.
Because they're still talking about like season 1, season 2 stuff. It was like 15 years ago.
Yep. And I feel every one of those years in my bones when we watch the show.
I know, it's so weird. It's like it like gives you your own nostalgic flashbacks.
Truly.
Oh my gosh. Well,
I mean, anyway, to wrap up Jersey, I will just say, like, I think everybody wants the best for Teresa and Joe and Melissa. And there's a lot of, vitriol about both, but it's tough to be a content creator and be like, look, I'm not fighting for either corner here. I'm just hoping that there's peace.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Like I love Jennifer Aiden and I have a civil relationship with Margaret. Like I apologized to her on my show for my very bold blog post heading because that was bold of me, but it helped incite the next steps to get to this place of resolution and education, and I accomplished my goals and I was able to take accountability and apologize to her. And if she wanted me to take it down, I would, but I don't think she really cares.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Should I take it down?
No, because you talked about it.
Yeah, I think it's okay. Yeah. All right, I'm going to move on to Vanderpump Rules just real quick. Season 10, episode 4, No Home Left to Wreck. James finds himself at the center of the serve rumor mill when he gets kicked out of a nightclub while fighting with Allie. Katie tries to keep her ex in line with another ultimatum. Tom and Tom host a friends and family event at Schwartz and Sandy's, but when Lisa questions them about the bar's status, they come clean about their dire situation. Despite Katie's feelings, Raquel throws caution to the wind and crosses the ultimate line. You said you do not watch this one, right?
No, if they start crumbing tables, let me know.
It's we're in a new era of Vanderpump Rules. This is season 10. They've upgraded their production value, and it's like people were nervous in like season 8, season 9. Like there were a lot of shifts. Some of the OGs went away and were fired, but I think it's making a comeback. And some of the fights that are going on between like Katie and Tom. We only saw Katie and Tom as a couple. This is the first season they're broken up. We saw them get married. Yeah. So they're divorced now, and they have to be on a show together. And people are taking sides hard. It's like, it's getting ugly. And I hope the fandom does not go to that level of like Jersey and Beverly Hills. Because
don't fight each other in the street. Don't fight each other in the street over these folks. They're making money. They're okay.
And I really love this show, so I hope they don't like tarnish that for us. But how about Real Housewives of there's a couple. I'm gonna skip these things. Just a couple announcements from those shows. What about the Real Housewives of Miami?
I'm behind on it, but boy, that show is just pure joy. It really is.
Oh my gosh, I won't give away like the full ending, but I'm telling you, this week's episode, it was the finale, and I had chills at the very end.
Really?
I was like, holy it. And it might be the production, because you can tell the difference in production value with Miami on Peacock versus the ones on Bravo. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if that adds to the drama, but I got chills. And this week's episode, just real quick for the SEO purposes, Real Housewives of Miami Season 5, Episode 16, Melting Pot Meltdown. The description is Lisa stands up for herself. Gertie hosts a melting pot party where Adriana pleads for forgiveness. You didn't watch this episode, but the finale episode is really good.
Okay,
Gertie's parties are insane. She had custom tables made that were like acrylic or something that you could see through, or maybe glass, I don't know. And then that way you could she put like a whole floral arrangement inside. That was just their table.
Oh, wow.
They sat at.
And I love it.
Had, like all their names and neon lights and like a whole jungle inside. It was
so amazing. It's what I thought SVIP was going to be.
Yes. Yes.
Right, I'll watch it. I'll watch it.
Yes. Oh my God, that's funny. Did you meet Gertie?
I
met her in the
no.
SVIP. Mm-mm. Okay, real quick, last one. Do you watch $1 Million Listing LA?
I watched $1 Million Listing New York because to me there's never been a more attractive person on Bravo than Steve Gold.
Oh my God.
I mean,
I think I agree with you.
Never in the history of, and I don't know if there ever will be again.
Were you kind of heartbroken when he got married and had a baby?
No, I wanted joy for him. I was so happy that he, found that path and wanted to go down it and everything. But I miss him being on Bravo. But
yeah, I was kind of heartbroken when he got in a relationship. I was like, even though I was married, I'm like,
you're like sitting next to your husband, like, damn it, I really almost had no chance at that.
It was like that with Andrea Denver on Summer House, his first season. He said something in a confessional like, I just want to find a nice American girl.
Quit fishing, Andrea. Quit fishing.
I swear, I yelled out me while my husband was sitting.
I volunteer as tribute.
Oh my gosh. Well, actually,
he seems nice. He's nice.
Yeah, oh my God, he's so sweet. But this week on $1 Million Listing LA, season 14, episode 12. Season 14, that's a long
time. Look, we're going to be saying this. It's going to be like season 37.
I am here for that.
My walker.
Dude, I almost considered getting a wheelchair for Bravocon because I think I broke my toe.
You should have got one of those scoot things that Sutton had. Boy, that would have been nice. That was a huge conference space.
We would have been able to go like to the bathroom first and everything.
I would have been on your back. I would have been like, just scoot me over somewhere.
So this finale episode of $1 Million Listing, I thought it was really cool. It's called To the Max. And what they did is they have these like huge plots of land that are selling for like $35 million a piece.
In Los Angeles, there's land?
No, in Vegas. They flew out to Vegas.
I was like, there's no more land in LA. Okay.
And they threw like a Mad Max type of party because there's nothing there, but they're trying to sell these $35 million homes. And they're like, how are we going to sell this? There's just dirt. They got VR technology to have a whole like home tour of these huge mansions that they rendered and using all technology. It was like the coolest thing ever. I'm like, it was very sexy. I'll say that.
Okay,
as a tech person, I loved it. But that's all we got for today. I know that's a lot, and there's
a lot going on. There's never a shortage.
Yeah.
In the Bravo
my gosh,
Kingdom.
So much content. I want to thank you so much for being my first live virtual guest on Bravo and Blaze. Yes, it's always a pleasure. And I still want to do something in person at some point.
Yeah.
And I'm nervous about Bravocon for next year. I heard rumors.
I don't know. I mean,
I don't like it.
I'm on the fence. What are you hearing? What's your rumors that you're hearing?
I'm hearing rumors that it may not happen this year. I'm hearing rumors that it may not be in New York next time.
Yeah.
And both of those things bother me.
Well, I would say to them, if they're listening, which they probably are not, feel free to take a beat. Feel free to take a beat, plan it out, make it great. I'm here to consult. Done a lot of large events in my day. I know Dame Gally has as well. And I think you've got feedback. I've got feedback. Maybe they should do a poll and say, what would you change? That's what I was surprised by because it was their first big event and they did no survey after. They're just like, we don't really care what you thought. Thanks for the cash. Whereas whenever I've done a big event, I always send out a thanks for coming. What would you change? What was your favorite thing? What was your least favorite thing? Whatever. They didn't do that. So maybe they just knew we'd all be, bitching and moaning about it publicly and they could just pick and choose from that feedback. But I hope that they put a dedicated team into it next time and think
Mm-hmm.
about the user experience of every single aspect. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. I don't know. And then if it's LA, I'm definitely like less inclined, to make that journey, knowing what having already been.
I know. I mean, I'm gonna go wherever it is. But I'm not gonna be happy about it if it's not in New York because it's just easy for me to go to New York.
And you know what we should do too? You know what we should do too? I'm gonna get a little wild with it. I'm gonna say that all the Bravo account creators need to band together and insist that we get some kind of steep discount.
Hell
Because
yeah.
they gave us nothing. Nothing. They wanted every dime from everyone. And I think we really helped that event. I mean, we showed everything about it. We showed you why it was great. We showed you different levels of experiences. And we really had like a commercial for the show for the event.
So I don't know if you saw this, but they sent out an email beforehand and they're like, if you want to participate in, I don't know how they framed it or phrased it, but they made it sound like we'll give you like $100 or maybe like $300. But there were the terms, I read them and it was like, you can't use it for this isn't it. And I was like, no,
why
I'm
would I
not
do
signing this. Yeah.
Yeah. And they wanted my government
$300?
name. So I was like, let me get this straight.
Yeah.
You want my government name. You want me to give you all this stuff. And then I get nothing. Sweet. Let me do that. Never. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. That's totally how I went into it. And I was like, no. And then the content that we had, I think, was you took the video of the stampede. Right?
Yeah, I got because I walked up as people were yelling and running. And so I started videotaping like I was towards the end. And I showed up 20 minutes early for that. And it was already stampeded happening. So I'm mid-stampede,
so
but I took live.
You're so funny because like we'd be in the SVIP and I did not leave there because I'm like, hell no, I can't go out there.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, I'm going. And I'm like, good luck. And you're just like, you got a pep in your step. I'm like,
I did not feel like I had a drop of pep, but you helped me. You saved my life twice. You saved my life twice. Yes, my anxiety was so high. Remember, I was sitting on the couch when you walked up to me. I could not get my heart rate below 100 because I'd just been in the madness. Yeah. And so you were like, hey, you wanna listen? And I was like, yeah, I do actually. And so you saved my life. That was
the first thing I knew I was gonna have to like go out and take breaks here and there, but I didn't know how soon I was gonna have to do it because immediately I walked in and I was overwhelmed. I saw Christian Grey Snow. We took a picture and I was like, I gotta go outside because this is too much. I go on Twitter. He said, I just went outside. I'm overwhelmed. I can't breathe or something. I was like, I'm outside too. It was just like, this is a lot. And
I know. And like, I've been in crazy settings before. Not a big deal. There was something about that. I don't know what it was, but it was really hard to just like take a beat for a second and take a breath. Ugh.
Yeah. It was a lot. It was like a lot in a good way, but also like, I don't know, maybe if it was like the crowd control or what, I don't know what like the standard staff to audience ratio is supposed to be, but it felt like a little bit too much and it got scary at one point. Day 2 was a little bit better, but
and people were drinking too much, probably. One of my followers, such a nice person, sent me video of these 2 ladies cursing them out because he showed up for his, I think he had, I can't remember what level he had, whatever is right below SVIP. So I think VIP, and they wanted to sit down, but people were in their seats and they said, oh, we're this. And they showed their wristband. They got cursed out. And the people were drinking, of course. So it wasn't like they were completely sober going off, but still it was like 11 a.m. Average Bravocon experience. You don't know what you're going to get, when you go out there. So
it was intense, but I don't know. Let's manifest another one soon. And if not Bravocon, then hopefully we can do like an in-person event or something.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, even if I don't go to the Bravocon itself, I'd probably come into town, just hang out or something. So we'll see. The sales pitch has to be really good for the next one.
All right. Well, thank you again. Everyone, make sure you go follow if you aren't already following at Bravo Bravo Ducking Bravo. Again, subscribing, reviewing, sharing, liking, and or leaving a 5-star rating is incredibly appreciated and helps this show continue to grow. Make sure you're subscribed and turn on notifications so you can be updated when we go live every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern for Cannabis Mom Boss and every Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern for Bravo and Blaze. Audio replay available on Apple, Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcast, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio. Have a great weekend, everyone, and stay lit, fam.
Happy birthday.